For many years, the Linux tiling window manager landscape prioritized one thing above all else: absolute, unyielding efficiency. As the Linux graphical stack transitioned from the aging X11 server to the modern Wayland protocol, developers sought to rebuild the desktop with clean, highly secure foundations. The Sway compositor emerged as the immediate benchmark for Wayland's early adoption. It was designed to consume almost zero resources, maintaining strict stability and extreme visual minimalism. If you wanted the speed of Wayland, you accepted a flat, bare-bones aesthetic. Hyprland was engineered as a direct rejection of that compromise. It forces the hardware to render heavy Gaussian blurs, custom Bezier curve animations, and dynamic physical window properties entirely via GPU acceleration. Pushing this level of cinematic visual density while maintaining the zero-latency input required by power users introduced a severe architectural bottleneck. The development team realized they could not achieve their performance targets while relying on the generalized third-party backend libraries used by competing compositors. Their solution was aggressive vertical integration. The project began systematically stripping away external open-source dependencies, replacing them with a highly optimized proprietary software stack built specifically for one environment. This diagram shows the 4 tiers of a Linux graphical environment: kernel hardware, rendering backend, IPC session, and user logic. Traditional projects share these libraries. Instead, Hyprland hollowed out the stack, entirely replacing the rendering and user logic layers with custom-built proprietary components. By replacing established Wayland libraries with proprietary components, Hyprland forces the user to manage the entire graphical stack as a single vertically integrated unit. Every Wayland compositor carries a heavy burden. It must act as both the window manager and the display server, communicating directly with the Linux kernel's direct rendering manager to push pixels to the screen. Historically, developers relied on a modular library called wroots to handle this low-level translation. It provided a widely tested, highly stable foundation that handled edge cases automatically. But wroots caters to a wide variety of minimalist compositors. Its release cycles and architectural rules began restricting the Hyprland team's ability to implement complex, non-standard graphical features. With the release of version 0.55, the developers made a structural pivot. They entirely deprecated wroots and severed their reliance on external rendering foundations. This workflow schematic illustrates the replacement. The team built Aquamarine, a custom, ultra-lightweight C++ rendering backend. It bypasses generalized frameworks entirely, piping unmediated rendering instructions straight into the kernel's DRM layer. Unmediated kernel access removes constraints, but it also removes safety nets. When a user operates a specific hardware configuration, like an Intel integrated GPU running DisplayPort over USB-C, the Intel driver outright rejects Aquamarine's atomic commit for the hardware cursor plane. As this graph overlay demonstrates, that single rejection triggers a catastrophic failure cascade. Without a functioning hardware cursor, Aquamarine falls back to software rendering, forcing the engine to calculate full-scene visual damage on every single hardware interrupt from the mouse. At a standard gaming mouse polling rate of 1000 Hz, the main thread is forced to calculate screen damage every single millisecond. This process starves the watchdog thread and pegs a logical CPU core at 99% utilization, entirely breaking the graphical session. Users running untested hardware must forcefully intercept the kernel translation themselves, applying strict environment variables like AQ no modifiers to manually disable modern DRM features before the compositor launches. Writing a custom rendering backend grants the developers total control over the visual pipeline. However, it transfers the massive burden of mitigating bleeding-edge hardware conflicts directly onto the end user. Moving up to the 3rd tier of the stack, we find the inter-process communication, or IPC layer. This is how peripheral desktop utilities like screen lockers and status bars talk to the core compositor. For decades, Linux desktops have utilized dbus as the universal standard for passing messages between applications. The Hyprland architects, prioritizing execution speed, diagnosed dbus as overly heavy for their specific needs. They authored Hyperwire, a bespoke IPC protocol built exclusively for their ecosystem. It executes C++ memory abstractions to achieve near-instantaneous data handshakes between system utilities. But high-speed internal communication requires a stable external launch environment. The Compositor relies on the host operating system to properly initialize its background services. In the past, users booted minimal Wayland environments by typing a basic shell script like start Hyperland directly into a raw terminal. The development team has now strictly mandated against this practice. Launching the environment now requires the Universal Wayland Session Manager, or UWSM. As we see here, UWSM acts as a wrapper, completely encapsulating the standalone Compositor binary and securely anchoring it to the systemd graphical session target. This wrapper handles the complex application lifecycle. It reads the system autostart directories, carefully initializes background daemons outside of the main memory space, and guarantees a clean process teardown when the user logs out. Because of this strict systemd integration, user applications like web browsers and terminals cannot simply be launched as child processes of the Compositor. They must be invoked via specific UWSM commands, forcing them into isolated control groups. By pairing the lightning-fast internal Hyperwire protocol with the strict external management of UWSM, the project isolates failures. A crashing terminal will no longer take the core graphical session down with it. At the very top of the stack is the user space logic, the code that defines exactly how windows behave, tile, and animate. Since its inception, the project utilized a custom configuration syntax called hyperlang. It relied on simple, static, comma-separated key-value pairs. But as users built increasingly complex workflows, they demanded rules that could adapt based on context, a requirement static text files cannot fulfill. Version 0.55 executed a massive architectural migration. The development team deprecated the legacy syntax and embedded a full Turing-complete Lua 5.4 scripting runtime directly into the Compositor startup sequence. The configuration file executes as a live program, querying and manipulating the desktop's memory state in real time. Looking at this side-by-side code comparison, the mathematical advantage becomes clear. Instead of manually typing out 10 separate commands to map 10 different virtual workspaces, a user can write a 3-line Lua for loop to programmatically generate the bindings at runtime. This Lua integration also exposes the Compositor's internal event hooks. Using the hl.on method, users can register asynchronous callbacks that listen for specific physical actions on the desktop. For example, a user can script a callback that listens for a heavy application, like a video editor, gaining focus. The moment the editor becomes active, the script instantly strips away background UI animations, disables drop shadows, and redirects those saved CPU cycles directly to the active application. Power users can now bypass the hard-coded C++ tiling mechanics entirely. The new Layout API allows users to write custom algorithms in Lua, returning exact X and Y coordinates to construct custom grid geometries on the fly. These new layouts apply personalized mathematics to create fluid window arrangements, adapting to screen dimensions and workflows instantly. Embedding a Turing-complete runtime elevates the software far beyond traditional window management. It transforms the screen into a fully programmable, context-aware digital canvas. Rebuilding kernel interaction, the IPC protocol, and the configuration runtime from scratch requires immense engineering discipline. Hyprland has constructed a distinct parallel ecosystem alongside the standard Linux desktop. Operating on this bleeding edge carries immediate operational friction. The core codebase undergoes rapid iterations, regularly breaking application binary interfaces. Users must manually recompile C++ plugins after routine updates, or risk immediate segmentation faults. This aggressive technical independence is directly mirrored by the project's highly polarized open-source governance model. The project leadership maintains a fiercely autonomous stance on community management. In 2024, this ideology clashed with mainstream Linux organizations. Following prolonged disputes over the enforcement of codes of conduct on third-party chat servers, the lead developer of Hyperland was permanently banned from contributing to the freedesktop.org infrastructure. This network map visualizes the structural consequence. Cut off from formal upstream collaboration with core Wayland and Mesa developers, the project is politically isolated. The Hyperland team now shoulders a heavier burden, forced to build custom workarounds for upstream bugs without collaborative support. System architects and end users must weigh these variables. Adopting this stack means accepting the friction of hardware incompatibility and political isolation in exchange for total control over the rendering pipeline. For those willing to navigate the volatility, the stack provides a combination of keyboard-driven efficiency and programmatic logic for users who demand absolute control over their graphical environment.